You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of Takeshi Tuesdays. Today we'll be diving back into the movie reviews, and again talking about the movies that he has directed. Today we'll be talking about A Scene at the Sea. A Scene at the Sea was Takeshi's third movie that he directed, and it was released on October 19th, 1991. It runs for approximately 101 minutes, which translates to roughly an hour and 41 minutes. A Scene at the Sea was one of three movies that Takeshi directed but did not star in, and it was the first movie to feature a soundtrack by Joe Hisaishi. Because of that, I think it's very important to his film career, because it was his first collaboration with Joe Hisaishi, and Joe Hisaishi being, in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, the best person to do his film soundtracks. A Scene at the Sea is a different movie than many of Takeshi's other movies. You still feel the same sense you get when watching a Takeshi movie. It's still very much his style, and you still get the same atmosphere. But one thing that makes it very unique is it's not a violent movie, and it's not one where it involves Yakuza in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, without him starring in it, too, that's another big difference from the majority of his films. A Scene at the Sea follows the story of a deaf garbage collector who has a deaf girlfriend, and you sort of see some of the romance bud between the two of them. However, the majority of the movie focuses on the fact that this garbage collector just wants to go surfing, and he wants to rise to the top in surfing and win a competition. With the two main characters being deaf, as you can imagine, there's actually very little dialogue in the film. Shigeru and Takako, which are the two main characters, never speak, obviously, because they're both deaf. And the only interactions where you hear people talk is with the people around them, and even then, it's few and far between, because again, the two main characters are deaf. How would I sum up this movie? Well, most of the movie, like I said, follows him trying to surf, and eventually entering a surfing contest. The movie has a very calming tone, and I'd say that is the one word I would use to sum up the movie. Calm. It's a very calm movie. It's a movie that you put on when you want to just kind of relax. It gives you a very nice vibe. And like all of Takeshi movies, I would say it's a beautiful movie. I would not say it's one of my favorites of his movies, simply because a lot of the plot doesn't really have a lot going on. But you could argue, in a way, that is kind of a strong suit, because it's sort of a slice-of-life movie in that it's just a character living his everyday life. Granted, it's primarily about him trying to surf and give up on work, and I believe there is an intentional social commentary about youth and work, which Takeshi may have put in there. However, these are not prominent enough to make it preachy or anything like that, because no one is looked at unsympathetically, and the character, although his obsession with surfing is looked down upon by the people around him, he's not portrayed in a particularly negative vein because of it. Again, you do see some of the romance budding between the two main characters, which I originally thought this was a romance movie, and in a way it kind of is, but it's more of a surfing movie than anything else. Now, I'm not a big surfing guy. I think surfing is a very interesting sport, and I'd do it myself if I could, but it's not something I've personally been enthralled with. So because of that, that aspect of the film was not exactly something that got me hyped up, but it is still something I thoroughly enjoyed because of the way it was portrayed. You want the character to succeed, you want him to win his surfing contest, and you want him to rise to the top. And he does a very good job at making you feel for the characters in this movie. It just goes to show just how effective a movie can be, even without prominent dialogue. Overall, A Scene at the Sea is a good movie to watch. It's a very calming and serene movie. That's the best way to describe it. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red-Eye, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Takeshi Tuesdays. Have a great day.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red-Eye.